There was a time in America when owning a Lincoln or owning a Cadillac was like the current situation where owning a Mercedes S-Class or BMW 7 Series means that I've arrived, I've made it, I'm the biggest and baddest on my block. Unfortunately, for a long time, Lincoln has not known what exactly it wants to be. All of the art, the rolling money of the past has now given way to copycat naming strategies of Cadillac's cars, producing shit cans such as the Lincoln MKS. Now, the Lincoln MKS isn't necessarily a bad car. I like the fact that it comes with all-wheel drive and that it offers the twin-turbo EcoBoost V6, otherwise known as the Ego Boost V6, which helps boost your ego instead of you just getting the regular V6 that was offered when the car first came out. The problem is, for a car that weighs this much, a V8 is pretty much mandatory. The lack of a V8 and the lack of an announcement for this new Lincoln Continental that there would be a V8 hurts perceptions in the public of the car. You see, what they don't seem to either understand or what they're not willing to accept is that my generation, people born in the 80s, and the generation before me, the 70s, and anybody who's still alive born in the 60s, they equate owning a V8 powered car with owning the top trim level of a car. V8s back then were producing more than 300 horsepower, and now we have V8s such as the Dodge Challenger Hellcat, Dodge Charger Hellcat, producing 707 horsepower supercharged. Now, granted, I'm not saying that everybody should have that much power in a car. What I'm saying is that a V8 is what you need to properly motivate a car of that size. Even Tesla's Model S, which uses all electric drive motors, has to have enough electricity flowing in order to offset the fact that that car damn near weighs 5,000 pounds with a 2-passenger load. Now, the Tesla costs $135,000, and as Tesla shares are shrinking, they're pretty much understanding that you can't build a car that only a luxury market can buy in excess of $100,000. The Lincoln Continental is a car that needs to be targeting buyers who are buying or able to buy a car that's between $60,000 and $100,000. Mercedes' new S-Class W222 is having absolutely no trouble outselling the BMW 7 Series and the Audi A8 simply because it has an interior that's out of this world and it has an extremely powerful twin-turbo V8, to which I ask, why is there no EcoBoost twin-turbo V8? Why would you even attempt to try to convince somebody that a twin-turbo V6 is enough for you to drive around in this 5,000-pound car or to drive around in a brand-new 5,000-pound Navigator? Now, granted, it may not actually weigh that much, but the simple fact is, I want a V8, and the majority of retirees want a V8. And if they're buying a car that costs this much, do you honestly think that these people are worried about gas mileage? The answer is no. The Mercedes W222 is going to be the ultimate challenge for Lincoln to overcome. If that Lincoln ends up costing anywhere between $80,000 and $90,000, you can bet that the Mercedes S-Class W222 is going to continue outselling just about all other similarly sized cars on a ratio of 5-to-1 like it's been doing. Mercedes is kicking ass. A twin-turbo V8, and while I'm not extremely happy with the exterior, how they softened out the edges and they gave in to critics and they got rid of the hockey puck shoulders, the Mercedes SW222 is a monster, and it's something that I would really prefer to be seen driving long range. Now, is there anything that Lincoln could do to take the steam out of Mercedes sales? This isn't the first time that we've seen a Lincoln Continental concept, but now that the competition is so stiff, perhaps what they need to do is come up with things that people will talk about, things that'll get people excited. They need either a twin-turbo or supercharged V8, which I doubt that they'll ever build. And they might want to even consider a suicide door option. And there are other cars on the market coming out with suicide doors like the i3, but the simple fact of the matter is, you need something that's going to excite people enough to talk about your brand. Now, I'm glad that Lincoln is dropping that stupid naming strategy that Cadillac started with the CTS, and now they got the ATS and the XTS. And the sad thing about it is when you try to talk about these cars with the average person who's not a car enthusiast, they don't know what the hell you're talking about. Meanwhile, you say the word Escalade. Everybody knows what you're talking about. In fact, I'm watching The Sopranos right now, and I'm seeing an Escalade right now on TV. Everybody knows what you're talking about when you say Escalade. But ATS, STS, CTS, XTS, nobody really can remember all that stuff. MKZ, MKX, MKS. I have to put more stress on that last syllable just so you know what the hell I'm talking about. It's time to bring back the Continental properly. It's time to bring back the town car properly. If you want to, they're dropping the MKS, but it's time that they start making cars that not only people get excited about, but that people can believe in. Simply put, if I told you that, quote-unquote, Johnny has a new Lincoln Continental, it's not that exciting. But if I say Johnny has a new Hellcat, yeah, suddenly it piques your interest.